Hi, today I'm going to talk about my repair attempt on the Thinkpad X121E, an ultrabook machine released almost 10 years ago by Lenovo. It's worth noting that if the machine by today's standard shows very outdated specs, it was already at the time of the release a budget model with modest configuration. My laptop suffered from a broken hinge, which looks like a quite common problem on this specific model. And even if I managed to fix the hinge at the time back to the structure, the protective case around the hinge broke, leaving the board below visible and unprotected. Today, I'm going to replace the palm rest cover case and the bottom case, as both suffered from the issue at the time. This fix should restore the physical integrity of the machine around the hinges and also provide a much more appealing result than the current situation. As most laptops, you start by removing the bottom cover, the hard drive, and all screws you can really have access to. Once it's done, you will need to gently try to pop out the case. Here I am using a metallic opening tool, but I would advise to always start with a plastic one to avoid marking your case. If you don't have such a tool, a guitar pick should also do the trick, or really any alternative that you can put your hands on and that is thin enough to do the job. It's important to be patient and not force too much, as the case can still be maintained by screws that you have forced in or that you will only access later during the unmounting process. Gently disconnect the ribbon cable of your keyboard, trackpad and any other cables you can have access to. Once it's done, you will have to switch the remaining components from your old cover case to the new one. Here, I start by transferring the power button to the new cover. Then, it's the turn of the touchpad. I remove tapes masking some of the screws and transfer the components to the new case. The new palm cover case I have ordered cost around $30 and around the same price for the bottom cover. It's worth noting that while the price can vary depending on your laptop model and its popularity, it is a fixed price, independent of your machine configuration. In this case, I fixed this laptop for the sake of the exercise, but I would recommend this kind of repair only for devices you feel worth saving for that cost. Finally, I disconnect the ribbon cable that is connecting the main board to the VGA circuit. I also start removing the Wi-Fi antennas from the cable management system on the frame. Once all the screws from the main board have been removed, it's time to gently extract it. Unfortunately, the battery of my camera died during the process, so I picked up the recording after the board was removed. Here, I transfer the VGA connector and the power plug to the new board and verify they fit well. The screen must be attached before the VGA connector though, as the screen cable goes between the VGA and the frame. Try to really tighten the screws from the hinges, as even a little play would greatly reduce the life expectancy of your frame at this exact spot. Fitting all cables into the frame can be a very fiddly process. Don't try to cut corners here though, because laptops are quite compact machines, and the cable misplaced will often lead to a piece that will not fit later on in the process. Now you can transfer the rest of the components to the new case. It's a good idea while you have access at it to remove any visible dust from the component that you can see, especially things like fans or radiators. As I mentioned previously, fitting cable can be quite of a fiddly process. Here, one of the cables from the screen was blocking the case and preventing it to pop back together. When that's the case, just reopen your laptop, place the cable back again in its trail and fit it back together. For the microphone, I needed several different attempts before connecting it correctly. We are almost done, but before fitting everything back together, I decided to give a thorough cleaning of my keyboard. There is a bit of technique to remove keycaps. Here, I press down the key and at the same time, I raise one of the corners, exercising some kind of torque movement that will unclip the key without breaking down the mechanism below. You can just use your finger to remove the keycaps, but if you want, you can also use a plastic opening tool such as the one I'm using here. This laptop was unused for many years and the keyboard was quite dirty. To clean the laptop, I used a mix of rubber alcohol, can spray and a pair of tweezers. You may ask yourself if it is safe to use rubber alcohol on electronic components. Actually, rubber alcohol is quite safe, as it evaporates quite quickly and leaves no trace behind itself. On the palm rest cover I ordered, the protective layer between the keyboard and the main board needed to be cut in order to clip the keyboard ribbon cable back to the motherboard. Finally, after a bit of battle with the Wi-Fi power cables and antennas, it's time to fit the remaining components back together. It's good to have an extra set of screws in case your laptop was missing screws because of prior disassemblies. The screen back cover could also do with some refreshing, but that will be another video in itself. The inside part of the laptop should now be in pristine condition. I guess that's it for today's video. If you have any questions, please leave a comment, I'll try to answer them, and bye for now.